you got to remember, there's people in the group who've never been on the road, never been close to someone. So, like, hopefully there's so many first-time experiences for people.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the eSkate Chat podcast with Evolve.
Are we going to use the technology from what's on the Hayden series?
It's changing that whole final drive ratio.
Surfing this endless wave through Tokyo.
Electric skateboarding is like breaking through.
Every time I wanted to drink, I would step on this board.
Heard somebody say, "Hey, Dean."
100%.
We'd love to build our own specialized eSkate track. I mean, the amount of thought that went into that.
I want to talk about how it affected the riders.
So I went skating with Tony Hawk.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Really? It's a whole new product line.
I've done things I never thought I'd be able to do because of electric skateboarding.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. We're in Vegas at ESK8CON. The event's just finished. I got ESK8UNITY, Fred.
What's up, guys?
And Tom, Bboy, Strech.
For sure.
How you guys go this last couple of days?
I'm really beat, but I'm all ridden out. 3 days straight of riding, traveling. It was a blast, though.
I'm just, the thing is, mentally, I'm not tired at all. I've been quite good, like 4 hours sleep every day. But I just think because it's crispy and the UK is wet all the time. But, yeah, I'm good. I had a bit of an accident on day one on a bonus track. I didn't move out the way fast enough. I've done my knee in, so I wasn't racing, unfortunately. But I set a lap, so I represent a little bit. But, yeah, no, I'm good, man. I'm doing well. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm good. I've been sort of in the booth and just getting around doing all the Evolve stuff. But you guys have been out doing heaps of group rides. How's that been? Like, is there any highlights of the group rides that have gone down?
Do you want to go first, Fred?
I mean, I was filming a little bit on my Insta360. I haven't even viewed any footage yet. A couple of friends of mine were filming, so we'll have some stuff. There's a lot of stuff to break down. But when it comes to a group ride like that, I try not to focus on filming too much. I just have a blast, you know. I just zip up all the time, especially in a city that I'm not too familiar with. I just want to look at everything, soak it all in. You know what I mean?
Well, you don't know who you're riding with.
That's too. Yeah, you definitely got to have to be more alert.
I think that's the thing for all three of us here is where do you draw the line between the balance of making stuff and also being there at the same time? I think for me personally, my favorite ride is we with the SoCal Legend guys. We did the like a pre-ride ride for the Vegas trip. So it was like what we did, but a bit more pacey. So it was really good vibes. It was a really good. That was kind of a little quiet one. Yeah, but that was.
Was that the invite only ride that no one could?
I asked. I did my thing off. You know,
It's pretty important.
yeah. No, I'm just doing. But no, also that we did like the wetland stuff, and it was like for mountain boarding in the UK.
Yeah.
It was like mountain boarding on dirt, but with tarmac, which was awesome.
Yeah, that was fun.
Pumping up.
That was fun.
Yeah, it's interesting because you guys are both from sort of big cities, being New York and London. You're outside of London, right?
Yeah, basically London. I'm London, right?
So then we're in the desert essentially. Like, how does the way the footpaths work out here, how are the roads different? And then have you been off-road?
So on the Vegas Strip is mostly like a highway. So you have to ride more of the residential areas around here, but then you still find a lot of city kind of area stuff here, hotels and stores and whatnot. And then you have the other casinos on the other side. So it's fun. You have big sidewalks too. So if you're a little scared to ride on the road with all the cars, there's pretty big sidewalks. But yeah, that main strip you can't really ride on too much, like where MGM is and stuff like that. Yeah,
it's a maturity thing, isn't it? It's like, you know, we all know where not to ride in like our main places. Like there's few places, like either one, New York and Gold Coast is 2 places on my bucket list, so I can't wait to ride there one day. But in relation to like terrain, like I've been saying how upset I've been with people when I'm saying, is this a bad road? And like, yeah, it's terrible. Like, we would do a group ride here because it's like we're like in Roman times and the terrain is terrible. So it's good for me because I can ride everything, and which was interesting because when we was doing some of the rides, like the Red Rock ride, which was awesome, people like sending it a Mach 10 doing the thing, which is great. But for like urban dense stuff, that's why I like shine. So it's
same. Because on the strip, on the main strip, on the other side, it's not only that you can't ride because cars are going fast, but there's barriers. There's a big barrier in the middle.
Yeah, they just come out of nowhere.
Yeah, well, and on the sides, you can't hop up on the sidewalk. It doesn't work like that. There's like barriers that you could do. So you have to you have to wait until you get to the next light and use a walkway. So that part you can't really ride, but there's tons of places, little back roads by the ESK8CON event. There's tons of back roads there.
Yeah, it was good for that. You could demo
Yeah.
stuff, which was great. I tried a little bit of dirt as well on the dust on my bio board. I was going along in the dirt, and then all of a sudden my board's with the weight, and I'm not a little guy, just went, and I just went like, because it was like all the dust and the compact stuff went in. It's just clay underneath. But yeah, that's the only thing. So a little bit of a throw, but yeah, just mostly dust and stuff.
I've found riding out here, it's sort of like that hard packed clay just with loose gravel on top of it.
Did you get a chance to ride a lot? Because you were working most of the time.
Not a lot. So
Yeah.
the only group ride I did was the strip one.
Yeah.
Which we can talk about in a little bit.
Yeah.
But I have ridden the wetlands tracks before on a previous trip, and no, it's some good pathways out there. Is that the one with the fresh asphalt?
Yeah,
Yeah, I forget. So wetlands was the first day or the second day?
Second day, Red Rock, because
Yeah.
the Red Rock was the like speed highway.
Yeah,
one.
I thought I was going to hate wetlands because it's kind of narrow, but it turned into this giant like pump
Theme
track
park,
kind of.
yeah.
Oh man, that was fun.
That was
'Cause
great.
At first it was stupid. I was like, this is stupid. I might just turn around and go home. We're riding in a straight line and in a single file line, and again it's narrow, but it turned a little wider, but it turned into like a windy pump track kind of vibe, and it was awesome.
That was that was awesome. And I think I had the same thing as well. Like, are we going to be in one?
It was 4 crashes too, and I was there for every one of them. I saw everyone.
Yeah. So if you want to see the content, go to Fred's channel with ESK8
It's gonna take a while to
crashes.
dig through all this stuff, and I think I got two crashes, 2 of those crashes.
To be fair, I was out for the races, but like everyone, there's nothing been serious, and that's we all got to be thankful for. The people had spills, whatever, but there was no one having real serious injury this year, and that's one thing. And you guys know this as well. It's like not necessarily a liability thing, but as emotionally liable, like making sure everyone's safe out there. It's putting yourself out there. Bringing people together, but no injuries. Which is great.
And especially in racing, like it I don't want to say usually happens, but it's not uncommon that in a race environment where it is competitive and these guys are going quite hard, someone's going to get a little bit...
I'm surprised there wasn't more crashes.
I'm surprised there wasn't. Cause
Especially the Stooge guys, they're going so fast and they're trying to... They're right on each other's butts, and I'm surprised the wheels didn't clip and they went flying off, because that happened a few with the novice races. They're just clipping each other's wheels, and it's an unexpected fall. If you're falling and you're about to run off, you can kind of tumble and make it
Some of them
okay.
got like half binders on just one foot.
Yeah.
So like partially locked in.
Yeah.
Well, I think something about those guys is they're so well versed at that style of racing. They're very experienced, and they
know when to
what
push.
they're doing is they're drifting behind, waiting to find the gap where they can pass.
Yeah.
So the guy in front of them knows what he's doing, so he's not going to suddenly stop.
True.
Like they sort of are in the flow together, and they do it a lot. So I think, like you said, the novices that are more cutting random lines,
They're not as alert
that's where
and
it
tuned.
came down.
Yeah.
But even though those guys were going crazy fast, it was sort of like what they do, so it might have been a little bit safer.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
I think it was very organic that the guys Mo and the team there put an amazing and competitive event on, because everyone was racing against people with a similar caliber. So it was great to see there wasn't like dominating forces on any race. It was always a spectacle, And I think flipping the groups and all that stuff, it was smooth as butter.
Can we talk about your shirt?
Yeah, we can talk about my shirt. I've got the best thing from ESK8CON, and I'm taking the community back home with me of the UK. So one of the benefits of being busted is one thing I wanted to walk away with is just the community and all the guys, like everyone here. So hopefully someone watching seen and this year were on me, But yeah, just kept going. It just great vibes all weekend. No politics. No, I didn't hear any politics the whole week. Everyone's doing their own thing, And ESK8CON, just being able to make things real, bring it back to fundamentals again. I think that's what it's all about.
Yeah, it's fantastic taking this community that spends so long online together, offline, like real world, face to face.
Yeah.
It got to the stage where there's just people coming up left, right, and center. Hi, I'm whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, what's your Instagram handle?
Yeah.
'Cause I don't know.
I said it probably 55 times each day. I said it's good to put a face on, because I don't really check their Instagram to see what they look like and all that stuff, but we chat almost every day about, eSkate stuff, and now I finally put a face on whoever I'm talking to.
Yeah, super positive vibes all around. It was like, oh, what are you riding? Like, let me try this board. What's that accessory? Like, there was a lot of that, which is going to happen when you get this many people with such high passions. Like, everyone had a pretty big commitment to come out here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a really good vibe in that sense.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that just all the different, the consumer or people looking to buy boards, like for me, like some of the stuff is unobtainable in the UK. Some of the stuff, you look at, but you can actually you can touch it, you can feel it, you can see how it rides underfoot. How much does it weigh? Like for me, like I'm doing this a while now, and like when I look at a board, obviously speed is exciting, but how does it feel when you pick it up, when you drag it, when you're going to the shops? How does it feel with low speed, high speeds? And you can't experience that without touching and feeling the product.
Yeah, for sure. That's not on a spec sheet. Like,
yeah, I always say that it's a lot more to buying a board than just looking at a spec sheet and a price. Always people look at top speed, spec, and price. There's so much more to buying a board than that. So much. Something
that is going to happen at every event of this scale is these huge, massive group rides. The Saturday night, Saturday night Strip Vegas ride was the biggest ride I've ever been on.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
and that's year 2.
Yeah, I don't know if there was a final number, but including bikes and stuff, it must have been.
I reckon could have been 1,000. I reckon.
No,
you don't think?
I was thinking 300 to 400.
I was thinking 250.
I don't know, man. I'm just vibing.
We in New York, the Halloween ride and September 11 ride. I think we hit 90 to 100. And it was big. Yeah, and New York, as you know, it's a lot. It's very congested.
The GTR launch went about 120.
The Evolve Open Day UK was pretty juicy, off-roading.
Yeah, that was a big ride. But like this thing was like, the pack was so deep, you couldn't see the front or the end.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, you're right.
It's a rare thing, PEV traffic.
Yeah. So
I just didn't like how much we had to stop.
But it's about inclusion. It's the balance, isn't it?
So that's going back to my point. Is like you're going to get these absolutely colossal group rides, and when there's that many people, they're not going to be free flowing. There's going to be a lot of start and stop. So I guess you're just in it for the experience.
Yeah,
like, it's definitely something you're going to remember forever. Like
for sure.
We had hundreds of skaters skating down the strip. There was police. There was all sorts, helicopters, bikes. Oh, man.
The thing for me as well with those kind of things from like hosting stuff as well is like you got to remember there's people in the group who've never been on the road, never been close to someone. So like hopefully there's so many first time experiences for people, and being in that safe space, knowing that everyone's looking after each other, and just the shenanigans. And
I really just saw online a bunch of people put on like the Facebook groups. This is my first group ride, blah blah. So it's, if a guy's from Utah coming from all the way over here and that's his first group ride ever and it's in Vegas, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's all downhill from there.
Sets the bar real high. That's something we notice a lot with our customers is, they use their board on their own pretty much. Like they're in a isolated community or they just don't like the social media thing. It's too busy for them. But they might see an event like this or like one of our races and just come out, and they might be a great skater because they've been skating for 2 or 3 years. They just haven't had the group experience.
Yeah,
it's just a diversity as well. You've got every demographic in one place, which is just so healthy. And I think you forget it's all buzzwords, specs, what you ride in, all that stuff. Oh, the colour and that. It's where it takes you. That's the thing. I've come from the UK, thousands of miles, and I've got to go back, which is going to sound, but yeah, just using it as a tool to unite everyone is just a beautiful thing for sure.
Outside of ESK8CON, like you guys have never met, but I assume have been talking for a long time.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
I was speaking to Fred at day one. Day one, I was like, I'm liking what you're doing. Just keep doing that.
Fred came on the scene hard. You couldn't miss him.
I guess so, right?
He came in. He's like, I got this board and this board and this board and this board. Which is
listen, it's pretty easy when you don't have kids, I'm too selfish.
Yeah, no. How is that sort of meeting one another, and like have you spoken about the differences between the US and the UK scene?
I think that's really interesting for me because like what I liked about Fred is his style in what he does, and like similar style with the double kick and stuff, and I just like that. And what for me, like I said, I've been doing this for a while now, and I just want to watch another person on my YouTube in my evenings. I'm having a coffee, you know, or having a beer, and that's my thing. And just I like to see more and more people making stuff, and you know, just the demographic is awesome. Just people doing their own style and doing that. Like I said, the phrase like the king of double kingpin, you know, because it's all European history and you know, doing that stuff. So it's just cool to have like another demographic in the creator scene. And that's what I like seeing with friends.
We'll get you on double kingpin again. Don't worry.
Yeah, I do.
And Tom, you used to be a double kingpin street.
I
Yeah,
know,
my demographic
that's
is-
what I'm saying.
That's the thing. People who have not seen my stuff, like if you do back,
Your old videos.
oh yeah, I know. I use my Evolve as I've got my Evolve Haiti, and I use it as my daily commute all the time, and it's just like, and you know that's why it's still there. It's still there, and it's still rocking because it's just the ride feeling is beautiful on the Haiti.
What wheels are sitting on it right now?
You want to? Oh, they were Meepo wheels actually, but they are Meepo. You asked the question.
We'll leave it in.
Yeah, we'll leave it. Yeah, no, but yeah, no, it's 80, always 80. UK, we just don't have the demographic for 97 mil wheels. Don't get me wrong, I love the street, and back in the day, when I first got my Evolve, which was my first Evolve was
Bamboo
GTX. Because I was like, me and my partner joke about it. If it hasn't got hexagons, is it really eSkate? You know, because
I never tried a GTX. I want to try it.
You'd love it.
I know. It's
For
like
a
super
street
small
board.
and flexy, but
They're rare as
yeah, I want
anything
that.
now.
I want
Decks
that
are
so bad. I've been
rare.
checking eBay and Facebook Marketplace for one.
Yeah, they're well hard to find. But yeah, what's funny, we was chatting before the podcast about wheels, and like, I remember I was like, I'm getting a carbon, because I had the GTX before, try something different. I had the carbon GTR, and then I was like, Bamboo looks really nice. I was watching like Jay Boston's video and like the white one. I thought that's the one. But I said, I've got my big ABEC wheels from the GTX. I thought they'll do fine. And I remember speaking to him, I was like, can you sell it to me without the wheels? Because like, I'm buying 2 boards and I can't really justify it. And he was like, yes, we might be able to sort something out because it was really early days. And then I tried it and I was like, damn, these wheels are so creamy. Like the white ones. And they organically change, which I like as well. But yeah, my GTR, man, I could spin that thing on a dime. Like I can get, I need to see my double kingpin Evolve.
You showed it to me last night.
Oh, I did, yeah. It's like, oh, yeah. I can't keep tabs. There's so much going on this
We
week.
took 10 minutes to try to find this
Yeah, I was like,
2015 video.
yeah.
Him just doing a quick
Blow
circle.
off the cobwebs.
I
Yeah.
got a photo somewhere at the office when you picked those boards up.
I got it signed. I got my boxes signed by Jeff.
Because Jeff was there, and there's a photo of him with his two new boxes with Jeff's signature on it. Man, that was like almost 5 years ago now, I think.
Damn.
Because I was whipping carving there a little bit, but when I saw you guys, Aussie guys, riding your style, I was like, man.
That must have been such a leap for eSkate in that 2017.
Oh, it was a different game
16?
back then. Yeah, for sure. Because it was all these batteries and the light, and
That's
it was just the
crazy.
sag was terrible. But now when you had the GTR launch, was it changed so much, and it just become more solid as a product and predictable, and yeah, but GTR was such a great board at the time when it came out, for sure.
You said something there where you don't have the streets and stuff in London. I know you have the weather for straight wheels, but that's something that like blows my mind when I go and skate with the guys in New York, because
it's gnarly.
they
actually, to
don't
be
have
fair.
good streets. Like,
Dude, I hear people say they have bad streets every freaking day. Stop it. If it's not cobblestone, your streets are fine. You can do it.
Yeah.
You could do it.
every
And just
time I've
power
been to
through
New
it.
York, they're terrible streets, and the boys are on their straight wheels.
I still remember when I first got my GTR, I went to my first group ride in New York, and there was these 2 guys on an X-Way and a Backfire, and you guys probably know they're 90mm wheels, 85s. And they were ripping it. And I was like, damn, I suck. And then I started getting in the transition of street wheels, and I realized all its positive attributes it has: range, power, speed.
There were a lot of reason why people back in the day were street riders, because they needed the range.
Right.
But battery technology is so much better now.
yeah,
But it makes the board bigger,
It's a board bigger, yeah, for sure. But
heavier, bigger.
But don't get me wrong, when the stars are aligned and it's nice, it's smooth, you're so planted and so connected. But that's the benefit of the board, is you've got it designed how you like it. and you can change it.
And that's a benefit to a 2-in-1 board. You can do 16, 25 different damn setups the way you want. Different pulleys, belts, wheels, diameter wheels, colors. It's like endless. It's crazy.
Or you do what Fred does and just have multiple boards, one in all terrain, one in straight.
I said this to him. I said,
someday I don't want to feel like changing the wheels. I'll take that one instead.
For me, bamboo on straight and then AT carbon. Simple.
Yeah, a lot of people are in that boat.
Yeah.
And I think for me, that's probably where I'm at. And then the only time I'm going to ride a bamboo street board is like if I'm doing like a car park session or something.
Yeah.
And then I'm going there to slide. I'm not trying to ride it too far.
I'll tell you a funny story, actually. You know, when you came over, and this is for people who have 2-in-1 boards. This is a hack, right? And I think I told you this as well, actually. I was, when we did the expo in London, no, it was in UK when we did the electric event, and I helped out.
Yeah, the fully charged one.
Yeah, so Jeff was speaking to one of the guys on for charging his van, like at home charger, and he was like, I'm going to trade you board charger, anyway, business, right? And then he was like, change one of the boards to like a street setup or vice versa. And he was like taking out, doing the calibration. I was like, why didn't you just take the nut off and then just hot swap the whole? And he looked at me and just like, oh, it was so obvious.
Yeah, that's by far the quickest way to do
it. I used to do it all the time. Like, if I wanted to put streets on this, that, and the other, if you've got two complete, or the Stoke, I used to say to people all the time, you change that whole complete and move that onto the other board.
Yeah,
done.
We do have a couple riders that have bought like full assembly, so they will buy the extra set of motors, so they have that whole back end just ready to swap over when they need it. It saves you a bunch of time.
And it's all plug and play now. It's obviously been plug and play for a long time.
Yeah.
But that's made such a difference.
So because like the most difficult bit about that whole thing is belt tensions,
and
then you got like 4 screws on each side, so you save all of that, and it's
like it's not long, but it's
so
convenient.
Or like,
just
but
bang.
still, it's like 5 minutes compared to like a minute.
I was gonna say, how much time are you guys saving?
But sometimes it's like it's enough that you're like, oh, screw it, I'll just go for a ride on what it is.
Yeah.
So when it's like less hassle to do so, I think it would make you change it up more.
I don't know why I kind of enjoy doing it. Like I go on live sometimes. When I'm chilling, I'm done with work. I go on live on my Instagram and I just change and clean my boards when I'm done with a ride, and just interact with people and change wheels and clean up the deck and stuff like that. It's fun.
Yeah, honestly, that's what I'm like with some of my drives and my other boards and that. Like sitting there, it's a weird therapeutic action, cleaning your stuff, because then you become more tuned with your board on what to look out for, And I think sometimes as well, what's good about the platform where the boards sit now with the belt drive, double key, all that stuff is it's interesting and you can make things better and you tune it to how you like, but it's not as complex. Because people think electric skateboarding as a consumer can be quite, what do I need to know? I need to know batteries and that stuff. It's very modular, so you can change it to how you need it to be.
So I'm not asking for an Evolve plug here by any means, but if you were to, like when you're having these conversations with people online, they've seen your channel or whatever, and they're asking like, oh man, like there's so many options out there. What do I need to know? What's some of the go-to things you sort of tell these people?
So I'm interested for Fred to go first.
How about you go first? You keep on making me go first. How about you go first? Yeah.
Okay, well, I've just been, it's etiquette. So it's very simple.
Such a gentleman.
Yeah, for sure. I think for me, my thing is it's very simple. What do you want it for? What do you need it for? What range do you need? Well, not how far do you need to go, how much you prepared. So what do you need it for is question one. How much is your budget? And have you skated before and where are you based? That's my thing every time. Because we're spoiled now. The board you want to ride exists out there, for sure. I think that's the thing for me, is what do you want it for? Go from there.
Yeah, I'll ask their budget first because I've done this before and I kind of narrowed it down what their kind of style is, and it went for like a 20-minute conversation, and then he only had $400 to spend.
That's a fair point.
It's my mistake, you know what I mean? I should have known. I don't know that he knows the community and pricing points of electric skateboards and stuff like that, so it was my fault. So yeah, first things first, ask them what their budget is, and I always try to recommend at least $1,000 to like the $1,800 mark.
Yeah, that's where it comes down to. First of all, like, do you want it to be off-road or street? Any AT just cranks everything up. And one thing I think lucky with myself, because I'm so absorbed by what this sport is it's like I'll find you a pre-owned one. Would you ride one pre-owned? And like the second-hand market is spoiled for choice, and that continuous kind of options for like maintenance stuff like that. Second-hand boards.
I always recommend against that.
Really?
Yeah. Used?
But the thing is, I would tell the history though. I would only recommend a board I knew.
Because
Yeah.
a secondhand battery is just like you could get lucky for sure.
Sure,
but
yeah.
you just don't know always.
Exactly.
I only buy boards when I know the history. Though.
I bought one used board, and it was from a friend of mine, and I knew he was a good guy, and he took care of his boards. So if you know the person or you got somebody to vouch, sure.
Yeah, that's what.
But
that's what I
you
try
know,
to do.
what are you gonna save? You're buying, say, a $1,800 board, and you get it for $1,500. Okay, then what happens when something malfunctions, and then you want a warranty, and now you try to make the company look bad, and it's just a bad situation. It's stupid.
I had a guy come up to me at the event, and he's like, "Yeah, man, I have an Evolve," and he was telling me all about it. I'm trying to figure out which one he had. He's not super in the scene, and I'm pretty sure he had a GTX.
Is that the guy who was stamping on his board?
No, he didn't have his board here. But then he's telling me about it, and he's like, "Yeah, man, it's got red motors," and I'm like, "Red motors?" Like, I'm not quite sure.
Get off the board, you're overheating, bro. Get off.
It was a full DIY board essentially.
And he wanted a warranty battery.
He was just asking me what was wrong with it, and I'm trying to like figure it out. And he's like, "Yeah, man," and we figured out it was the GTX, and then it turned out just to be the GTX deck.
Oh, okay. So he
Yeah,
bought
it's
it
a
like that
shell.
used.
He bought it like that,
Gotcha.
thinking it was that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
But that
another
was from
thing.
a
If
thrift store.
if you don't know anything about eSkate
Yeah.
and you don't know what you're buying, you know, somebody could have taken out that battery and put in a smaller capacity battery in there, you know?
Yeah, never know. Do you ever talk to people that have bought the wrong board?
What do you mean by that?
Like they've bought something and they're like,
They realized that they should have got something better.
Maybe not necessarily better. Like I had a conversation with a guy that got the 4-wheel drive board because he spoke to some people about off-roading, and it seemed like the right thing. But then he's like, "Man, everyone's telling me 2-wheel drive."
It didn't match his taste of riding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why I always say to people when I recommend boards, like, what do you want it for? And I always try and guide people in the right direction for their demographic every time. So, yeah, but that's where being involved in the community is really important, because in that situation, you might have the wrong
But this is
board
why I
for
recommend 2-in-1 boards so much, because you take out a 2-in-1 board with ATs, you get a feel for that off-roading. And if you really, really love off-roading, you want more power, you want more range, you can go for something bigger mountain board style, bigger wheels, bigger battery. And then you can switch over to street wheels, and you can find a whole new love for longboarding there. And you have the option to do both with one purchase, you know. And then if you buy the wrong board because you think you want to upgrade to something bigger and that's not cutting it, at least you get a taste of what that kind of section of electric longboarding can be like.
Yeah, I would always agree never to go full max on the first board. I think it's ridiculous. Yeah, I think, like you say, if you, what it is, and I'm not saying this because I'm on podcast, everyone should have an Evolve at some point. You don't sound but I was going to say, because it's a support and it's a continuous care and the availability, and that's the same thing. But it gives you a platform to get in there in a safe space with that support, and which is always at hometown. And like I said, with newer boards coming out, like I said before, the second-hand market, which some people like and don't like, I think it's a good demographic where people can say you buy a second-hand GTR back in the day from X many years ago, you could, and the motor goes right. They're still stocked, aren't they?
Oh, of course, yeah.
There's still what? What did you say?
They're still stocked for replacement parts.
Oh, yeah.
We still got GT stuff.
Yeah, actually, a funny story. Actually,
So can you find a GTX in the warehouse for me and just send it to me?
We actually have a stack of decks, I'm pretty sure.
Really?
But I don't.
The deck is
we only have
mint.
one complete, I think, because we got a history wall of boards.
Yeah.
But you're going to go backwards with the battery sag.
I'm okay with that.
The GTX.
Oh,
That's
that's
why the
not a-
GTR is so.
That's not a long range
of
board.
course. We're going a long way back. We're going 2015, 15 technology.
That's when I started.
Yeah.
That was my first board.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's 8 years ago. It doesn't
Technology is so
doesn't
fast.
stack up.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, like, the skateboard side of things, sort of haven't changed that much. So like the trucks pretty much define the ride, trucks and wheels, and they haven't really changed.
Right.
So
Just Forge, that was the biggest change for the GTR.
to strength, but not the ride. It doesn't really affect how it rides. So over in the UK, we have that old Gen 1 carbon.
Yeah.
Have you ridden that?
I haven't yet because I think Jeff stole the remote when he came over.
They're rare.
So they're rare as anything, yeah. Okay, but I
They
tell
have
you,
that weird sliding thing, no?
No, this is really old. It's
is
like
like
when the
before my time.
Stooge
Stooge,
style,
like,
massive.
remote
Oh, wow.
And they're
Like an
white.
RC car kind of thing.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
literally was an RC car. Because I remember I said to you recently, I found a Gen 1 Evolve, like the first 50 ever made. And I was like, some UK guys like,
Was that a pintail?
yeah,
The
Yeah.
Pintail and the stub nose.
yeah, the original one.
There was...
I didn't even know that it existed
Was
until
that
like
the
a year
block
ago.
on it?
Yep.
Yeah,
Because
okay,
I
so
picked it
there's-
up and I went, oh, this is cool because I like novelty things. And I turned over and went, whoa.
It had one motor, no?
Big.
Yeah, big, like...
In-
it was
in body
250 watts, the motor. And it was huge. And they had plaques individually, 1 to 50. It was 50 boards in the first
It's still
run.
spun up. It's still spun up. I've got footage.
Yeah. I mean, and like the ride
Still got
itself,
footage.
that's what I was saying earlier, is like you take it out for a carve, the acceleration and the braking's like a bit, not there. But the carve, and you're like, oh, it's still
It was
good.
narrower as well. The trucks were like smaller.
Yeah, and with the carbon one, actually, we've seen a few DIYs because it was such a big
Yeah,
board.
I've got that deck. I have got one.
You can fit like a 12 S8P in
Yeah,
there
they're
if you-
massive, but they're like really unique.
Yeah.
Like so different. I
Yeah.
know some of the guys back in the UK. One of the guys, Ricardo. He's got. Whenever I find one, I was like, let me know because they're just such a beast. But they're super thin stock, but people
Yeah.
just put a spacer in it, and you've got this long boat size enclosure that you could do anything with.
Yeah, because that was back we were using pouch shells, so we didn't have to worry about the height of an 18650. So the whole carbon thing is like super, super thin. So
It's crazy
Nice.
thin,
Nice.
crazy thin. But then once again, what do you want it for? If someone just cruising down super smooth tarmac, even now it'd be perfect.
I think so far the best deck is the Haitian carbon deck. Oh my god, it's beautiful. It's lightweight. It's thin. It's sleek. You got the lights in there,
Yeah.
and
it's hard to argue.
it's
against that.
I love that deck. And I even said this to you a while ago. The GTR carbon, I wish it was wider. And finally, the Haitian
yeah,
is
for
wider.
sure.
And I'm like, oh, perfect. I stepped on it when I first stepped on it. You guys did the demo in New York when Tom introed it to everybody before it came out. I was like, this is exactly what it needs, and it's great.
Yeah, if you're really like hooking in and getting into your calves, the extra width like gives you
A little bit
a
extra.
little bit of extra space to get over on the deck and really push it down deep.
Yeah, I like it for the dancing. Just that little
Oh,
edge
yeah,
right there.
That makes sense.
Sure.
as well.
Yeah.
Got to be careful with that.
And yeah, then I think the bottom of it sort of refined. It was one of the first skateboards that like was more than just, how do you say it? Just like
Scripted, like with
Yeah,
what
script- like-
Swerve have done.
yeah, the aesthetics on it. Like we're going to put all these accents in. We actually cared about how this material looked next to this material. And there was like matte and gloss, and then yeah, a lot went into that. So when you look at it, it's got that like supercar. Oh, it's pretty.
It is a pretty board. It's definitely, and with the every deck is different thing is a really nice thing because that's the only one of that kind. One thing I think people miss, and I'm going to interrogate Salt here just a little bit, is there's expandability for both of the boards with how thin they are. Because obviously with the open core, there's it could be interesting to see if there was expandability with the boards going forward with the back with the enclosure because it's open core.
Yeah, I mean, make it larger?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Yeah.
I don't like larger.
Yeah.
Larger means heavier and it means more expensive.
Exactly.
So it depends what you want. The Haitian bamboo doesn't have
No,
much
that's
wiggle
the-
room at all underneath
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's a pretty low riding board, so you couldn't double stack or anything there.
Yeah, not on streets, but someone would do that. That's the thing. Isn't it? Someone would do that and have it inches. Not even. I don't even know if you could do it. You could.
Well, you could put riser pads in and lift it up, but there's
They'll go
definitely
moving
things-
away of what it's for sure.
Yeah, there's stuff you can do. You can change configurations and that. We have like a empty space inside that deck.
Interesting.
The chassis. Anything else you guys want to get off your chest before we wrap her up?
I
ESK8CON was fun. If you
Yeah,
guys didn't
well
go,
done.
you missed out.
Yeah,
please go next year. Evolve is still going to be there for 2024. It was fun. They hired a Amped Electric Games, which is really more based towards unis. They did a few uni events, and it was really cool. And so I even told Mike Beard, I was like, you guys should hire some kind of broadcast system / DJ for the event, because it's going to be huge. And it was, because it's nothing like last year. And yeah, everybody was there all across the world. So if you guys aren't going, I don't know what to tell you.
I think for me, like I said, I've been doing this a while now, and I love it. Every time's a reward. Every time. I just think just networking with people who understand what it's like to be in the scene is fantastic. Some of the people that I've been sharing my journey with a long time has been amazing. So speaking to the content guys, speaking to the event guys, and then obviously the builders and side of things. So just making our world a little smaller, I think, was special.
I got one last thing.
Go.
Both of you guys are from cold places, right? So you
Pretty
have
much.
not very nice winters.
Oh yeah.
What's the vibe and the feeling like heading into spring, knowing it's around the corner and you got something?
Oh yeah.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because we come to Vegas expecting it to be 80 degrees, and it wasn't.
No.
It wasn't.
It was sneaky.
Oh my God! What's it called? The red. What was it?
Red
first
Rock?
ride? Red Rock ride. I was freezing.
Oh my God! I saw
it was
you,
all
you
shadow.
dying.
It was all shadows too, because we were behind the mountain, so we had no sun.
So
And then we rode through this giant puddle. I didn't ride through it. I walked through it, but my feet were soaked, and it just made it even worse. Point is that we come to Vegas expecting very nice weather. It wasn't. I'd probably say it hit maybe 60-something midday during ESK8CON, which is great. But for the group rides before and after ESK8CON, it was cold.
You had to learn really quickly.
I wore like 4 hoodies because I didn't bring a jacket.
Yeah.
I didn't want to overpack.
That's the thing. It was like hot-ish during the day and then cold. And my first night, I had my full face, my lazy Roaring jacket and everything. I was all padded up and I was sweating. And then the sun goes. But that was the thing with Red Rock. You went up in the sun and then went down. Nothing but shade.
The beginning was fine because we had the sun.
It was so broken, man.
I was like mad because I just wasn't having a good time. I wanted to go home because I was so cold. My feet were freaking soaked.
It was so white.
It was but it was so long because I was like, where are our cars? I thought we were riding for so long. I'm like, when's this over? Because they said, oh, we're over there. Cars are over there. And I was like, okay, cool. And then 20 minutes goes by. We're nowhere to be found. Our cars are nowhere to be found.
It was very upsetting.
I think
cold.
you're still a little bit upset.
Bit cold on the situation.
So back off ESK8CON, going home, the community vibes. What's going to change in the next couple months? Like group rides coming back.
So yeah, doing rides. I've always been doing rides in the UK because I love seeing my friends and just vibing, giving back. Quite love. I really have been inspired to see if I can put together like the race leagues that I've been doing out here. I'm working on that. It's hard because we don't have much space and the weather's unpredictable. So, but I'd love to see the standard out here being pulled back to UK a little bit and really getting everyone inspired to really refine and because this is exciting. We're still early days with this.
Yeah, we're working really hard to try and get access to the car park next to the Evolve
I've
store.
heard this. Yeah.
That would be dope.
Honestly, over a year back and forth. It's a massive
multi-story.
Who owns it?
So that's the thing. It's changing ownership between 2 massive corporate entities. So there's a lot of.
So you can't even negotiate with somebody yet.
No, the guy that's acquiring it apparently is happy to work with it, but he hasn't acquired it. I don't know the ins and outs. Don't take my word.
But there's hope. There's hope. There's
hope. They're keen to work with us, and it's undercover, and it's a big thing in the UK, and it's. Oh man,
5 feet from an Evolve shop.
Is it the same
maybe.
car park that you guys did the promo for the Hayden when it first came out? The guy did the shove it. He did a slide and then a shove it.
That's let me guess because I'm obsessed with this. It's your Tyler, isn't it?
Yeah.
Going
He's
sideways.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. He needs to put out more stuff. I checked out his Instagram. He has like nothing on eSkate. I'm like,
because he doesn't eSkate unless I say you're coming to skate and I'm pointing a camera at you,
Mm.
and he will not ride for 3 months, 6
Trains,
months.
yeah.
He won't even be on a board, and he'll get on at the shoot and do that first go.
Holy.
He'll come to the Australian Open, win.
He's been there
He'll
so
go to the
long.
UK Open, win.
Is he a skater or a longboarder? Skater, yeah.
Skate park, dude. That car park was actually down at Melbourne University, and it was in the original Mad Max film. That's where one of the scenes was.
Cool.
And it's very cool. But no, this one at here East, it's just like a
It just makes so much sense if you can get it.
So much sense. And then, man, if we could do a race league, it would have that same vibe of the Haitian film where you could have cars and speakers, put a DJ in there. There's a bar and the food downstairs for underneath.
Yeah.
The Evolve shop's just there. We can charge up.
So you're in a safe space no matter what happens.
It's absolutely perfect. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, that's cool. I think that's one thing I lacked at ESK8CON. I think they should have had like a shop section, bearings, tools.
I think they
tubes.
said that was with Mo, but I don't think it was really advertised very much.
That's what I mean. Yeah, I'm sure everybody had their own little section of tools and stuff, but there should have been like a little handy section.
Learning curves all the time for sure.
Yeah, man, they put on a great event.
Oh yeah,
There's
for sure.
Definitely
For sure.
stuff they're going to do next year. He's already said it's going to be bigger, it's going to be better. Not everything came to fruition, but I think they put on a great event.
I agree 100%.
It was unity, professionalism, and efficiency. It was
The track was good. I sucked at first, but then I started getting better.
Can we please say about what happened, Fred? Please. Because
So I qualified for the Sportsman, which is the middle class, and so they did 2 heats. So the first heat, they started me in the back, and it started with a rolling start.
Yep.
So I was in the back. Now I'm riding a 12S3P board, and it's not the fastest, but the Sportsman has mostly fast DIYs.
There's huge diversity.
Yeah, mostly like the LaQual, build kind of DIYs, and I passed I think 2 people, but I couldn't get in front of anybody else. So then the second race, I started up front, rolling start, and I probably had 2 meters on everybody.
He was way in front.
So the fourth lap, the guy's waving the flag like this, and the announcer goes, "Oh, and in first place, Fred, number 48, blah, blah." And the way he said it, I thought the race was done. So I let off the throttle, I stood up, relaxed, looked around a little bit, and the guy that was behind me finally turned, and I see him coming, and he's still zooming. And I'm like, "Yo, we done?"
Chill.
And he just zoomed by me, and I'm like, "What?" And then I saw you and a couple
was
other people
screaming
like,
at you.
go. I'm like, "Shit, it's not over." And I had to full throttle it, and now I was in second place, and I stayed in second. And I was so mad at myself for that, so mad at myself. And that's the Sportsman class of the 12S3P. I think I did pretty well.
No, you was doing really well, man. You was doing really well, and I was trying to. I'm on the side. I actually qualified for Sportsman for historical. I was in there. I could have done it, so it'd been cool if we had a heads up. But yeah, I just couldn't.
And what board was that?
Bboy board, Plutonium 2S.
Slightly different to your one.
It doesn't really carve like that. It just creates
Yep, so
noise everywhere it goes. It's just such a nice
That's a
rig.
4-wheel drive one, right?
4-wheel drive. And I get told off in DIY saying, but I'm just a consumer. It says it's like 22,000 watts of power, 0 to whatever, depending on how brave you're feeling.
Suppose it's the fastest production board, no?
Well, they've got the new guys, Rayfield, are coming up. But it's a different demographic again. They're just street downhill monsters. I spoke to them today. And they've got the world record. It's like 88 miles an hour.
Yeah, 82 miles an hour, 132 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
And he crashed after he said it.
Whoa.
He went past the speed trap, got the speed.
Oh, and then he
binned
went.
it.
Oh, my God.
Where do they do these things? At airports?
Well, no.
Yeah, they have to have a strict dedicated road. They have to...
Yeah, you can't have one little,
Do you know what?
thing
I
out
asked him
there.
how long it takes him to get to there. About 12 seconds.
Yeah. He said it does 0 to 100 in 8, which is, I rode that thing.
Yeah,
It's
there.
fast, but I mean, it's a downhill longboard. It goes in a straight line.
Yeah.
Really fast. So
Yeah.
another one of those boards, which is like,
One thing.
if that's what you want, that's what you want.
It's
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah. Everybody's got their own personal preferences.
I'm quite lucky because I think I've got many hats with my demographic, double kingpin, which I don't ride very much, but when I do, it's always. I always could say, and I'm not doing this for a plug. I remember every riding I see involved, I'm like, while we're sitting there chilling, I was like, can I just do a couple of circles? And just because it's so much fun. And then like got the mountain board scene with stuff like Tramper and whatnot, doing like the mountain board stuff in UK, which is awesome, and the dirt, and then you've got like range monsters, and you've got speed monsters. It never stops. There's
You got
always
everything. You got your mountain boards, your street boards, short boards, then you two bloody with your unicycles.
Yeah, there is footage which I could. I might post.
For the record, I'll never just go
But
uni.
Matty
though.
riding his
I
own
always like
EUC.
Yeah, for the record, I'll never just go uni. I still like it.
Oh, yeah.
I just eSkate is still my thing.
You just can't describe the feeling of a board. I ride a EUC as well, but yeah, a board is always going to be fun and a joy to ride.
Yeah, I agree.
And on that note, I reckon we'll wrap it up. So Obviously, links and bios for you guys down there, but I'll put like the live feed from the event. I'm sure that'll get posted. We'll put the guys
Make
from
a tree of
ESK8CON,
everything.
all that stuff. So
It's
go and
weird
check it
too.
all
Like
out.
they posted the link on their live, but it seems like they skipped the Sportsman. They put the novice race on there, and then they went to the finals of the pro race. That I wanted to see myself racing.
Yeah,
but
that's so
it
much.
seems like it's not up there. I don't know.
I don't know. There's so
The
much
cameras are
content.
rolling,
man.
so like
It's out there.
I'm sure
Yeah,
they'll have it and they'll get it
somewhere.
Yeah, it'll be super cool. Well, thanks guys, and we'll see you next time.
See.
Peace.